Hello, Kate.
Hello.
Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for coming back.
Hello,
Katie.
Kate or Katie, entirely up to you.
Don't mind either.
You can be either. Well, thank you very much for coming back. Do you want to, can you bring the mic a little bit closer to you?
course.
Sorry.
Yeah,
There we go.
eat it.
That's
Pop.
better.
Okay.
Lovely. Would you like to reintroduce yourself to anyone that has perhaps not heard your previous podcast?
Yes, okay. So I am Kate Cridland. That's my married name. Kate Eade to anyone who knows me through work. And I am 53 Burnham resident. 53. Yeah.
How long
I've
ago
only
did we
just
meet?
gone 53. I have, since I came here last time, I've had 2 birthdays.
Really?
I'm now, 53.
How old were you when I first met you?
Oh, 18?
God,
That's a
blimey.
long time.
Yeah. No,
I
it's
feel
not that
really
long.
old now.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's
is funny.
I was 18
Wow.
and a very different person.
Oh, very. Yeah, I know.
Very different person. My wedding day, which was a couple of years ago, or just over a year ago.
Beautiful day, by the way.
Thank you very much. It was good. I enjoyed
We
it.
really enjoyed it.
I had 3 cards that I had bought, especially for certain people in the wedding who weren't, the wedding party. And I wrote them out the morning I was getting married. So I'd had all my hair and makeup done and I was in the zone and I thought, right, now I'm going to... So I pootled off into the dining room where we were staying and I wrote these 3 cards out. And one was for my mother-in-law to say, thank you very much. You gave me a husband, but I've gained a mother-in-law and, Another one was for a friend who lives down in Brixham, and I put on there, I don't know the moment that you first stood in front of me and somebody said, this is Adam, this is Kate. I said, but I am so grateful to whoever it was because you are the best of friends. And he is just an amazing person, and I love him. And he's had such a rocky life with health and all sorts, so it's been a wonderful journey with him. When I first saw him, I had a moment with him at the wedding reception, he went, you bitch. And I said, I'm so sorry. He said, I absolutely sobbed. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And the other one was for you. And the line I put, and I kind of wanted to sort of say to you that actually the person that I am today is, I know you'll tell me off for saying completely because of you, but it was. I've had quite a strange journey through life, but the foundation that you gave me was just phenomenal. It was amazing, and it has helped me through some of the worst moments that I have ever gone through. And I think the first line I put was, stand up, look around this room, and every single person is here because of you.
That was very kind.
And that is, you taught me through everything that I was going through when I was that age and other things I've gone through since, that you love everybody, you accept everybody, you take them in until they, excuse my French, to whatever degree you then decide that's it, I'm done, and then I'm very stubborn and I'm done then. But you taught me that, I accept you, I accept Dave, I accept everybody, that your family is my family, you're in my life, and that's how I've always seen it. So when Ant and I were planning the wedding, you were actually one of the very first people after we did we got to invite them, their family. You were actually one of the first people that I said, I'm not getting married without you there. But it is true, everything that I have ever done in life has been built on the foundations that you built when I was...
We built.
There you go. See, I knew it was going to come in at some point. Yes, I did it with you, but yes,
But I think that's the thing about relationships, isn't it? And people that are important in your life, that it is a shared journey. Whatever you go through in life it is often shared by other people. We have our own identity and we have our own feelings, but we share them and we develop and we grow, and we don't. It goes one way or the other, doesn't it?
I think you meet everybody you meet for a reason.
Yeah.
And not because you get something from them, but maybe because you give something to them. And I think everybody comes into your life, whether they come into your life forever or they're in fleetingly and then gone again. They come in for a purpose.
It's funny because you're making me think about Annie, who's one of the trustees of the charity. And our paths have crossed a lot over the years. And now I'd say she's one of my closest friends. And we are, people think we're sisters. We are, and we're just so the same. We're so similar. It's uncanny. Yeah. But I think I would never have thought that could have happened. She's a little bit older than me, and at my time of life, you think you've kind of got all your friends established, haven't you? But no, we're really, really close, which makes me feel guilty because I haven't rang her for a couple of days.
But you know that when you phone her, it will be...
She won't care. It's not like that.
I have a best friend in Bristol, and we were really close when the kids were growing up, because my daughter and her oldest, her son, were the same age. They were born 7 weeks apart, so he came along first. And it was one of those really weird experiences that we were pregnant together, and as soon as she had a boy, I knew I was having a girl. It was like something in my body went, okay, let's sort these hormones out and make sure you know. She and I were absolutely the closest of closest when the kids were together and so much, But now we've wandered apart a bit. She was one of my bridesmaids. But I know that I can ring her up, and I text her when I was away on holiday. Oh, she texted to say happy birthday. And she said, how are you doing? And I said, oh my God, I'm bloody awful. I need a, and she said, right, lunch Sunday. And I went, yeah, thank you very much. And I know that she will pick me up, and, just because we haven't seen each other for so long.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't make any odds.
No. And that's lovely, isn't it? So, we see each other every week generally, don't we? It's very rare.
Yeah,
and I think if we don't see each other, we always talk to each other.
We do, yeah. There's always something going on.
And I think some people would see our relationship as a bit odd because you're a little bit younger than me.
Yeah,
just
quite
a tad.
possibly.
But you are like one of my kids, if you see what I'm saying. It's like that surrogate child type thing. And I feel like that with a lot of people that I know and get close to. I think I'm choosy in the sense that I don't always don't give it away to everybody, but...
I feel very fortunate there.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You kind of think, I can invest in that relationship. And I think investing in relationships are always a bit difficult because it's a risk. Everybody takes a risk in a relationship. So you've had a rubbish year then?
Oh, I've had the crappiest year ever.
Really?
Honestly, it has been a nightmare. Honestly, the last question you asked me on the last podcast was, is there anything in your life you would change if you could? And I sat down and thought, no, just got married, wonderful marriage, or, it's only been married a month, but had wonderful wedding, lovely marriage so far, fantastic daughter, great son. My stepson is, just going up to secondary school. He was brilliant, just having renovations done to the house. The dog was great. Everything was fantastic. And then midnight came along on New Year's Eve, and it just... No, the one before, the one out of 24 into 25. And it just turned into the worst year we have ever had. Honestly, if I wrote a book, Adrian Mole type diary, and sent it off to, I don't know, HarperCollins, have got a few spaces now, haven't they? If you sent it off to HarperCollins and said, this is the diary of my life, they'd write back and go, I want physical proof that all of these things happened. It was just a nightmare. We got to the end of it. We went away for our wedding anniversary, and I said to him, I'm done. That's it. I don't want any more of this year. You know when you have kids and your kids are little, right? You probably didn't do this. Do you have children?
I don't have children, no.
Okay. You wake your children up in the morning, like 7, 8 o'clock, whatever time. And on a weekend, you can absolutely guarantee that you will know exactly what I mean. There has been a day when you have woken up and they have just been a complete dick, again, excuse my French. From the moment they got up, you get to about 9 o'clock in the morning and you think, God, can I put them back to bed again yet? Can I finish this day? You get days like that with kids and people, but we just had a year of it where it just went from one thing to another. I mean, I can tell you that. But again, so January, I caught a chest infection, which stayed until March, and I just couldn't get rid of it. My father-in-law, so not my father-in-law through my marriage, but the wonderful dad that I had from my previous relationship. It was never my father-in-law, but he was always my dad. He got diagnosed with cancer in his eye in January and then had to have that removed. My mother-in-law, my actual mother-in-law...
I was going to say the real one.
My actual mother-in-law got diagnosed with breast cancer and has had to have a mastectomy, and that lasted... I mean, she's still now not able to drive. She's just in the last process of it all. So that's been a year of ongoing stuff. I had a cancer scare. Again, was only a couple of months, but it was done and dusted, and it was all good. So that takes us up to April.
Wow, all of that.
That was April. May, I got diagnosed with osteoarthritis in both of my knees, which was fine, but again, was such a fight with the NHS. And in the end, the NHS said to me, we're just going to give you pain medication and you just have to deal with it. When you're older, we'll give you a knee replacement. And I was like, well, how much older? And they were like, well, 66. And I was like, that's 15 years.
A long time.
It is a long time.
Get lost. Yeah,
Can you
that's
have more
not
than
happening.
one knee replacement?
Yeah. You can have them both done at the same time as well if you're,
Can you? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I had both my knees not operated on when I was a lot younger.
Yeah. So I then went privately, and the guy said, oh, for God's sake, yes, no, let's get this sorted. Okay. So he's told me I've got to lose a couple of stone, hence the no biscuit. A couple of stone, and then I can get my knees replaced. So that was May. The doctor had put me on codeine, and in July we went over to Belgium again to watch the F1. And in my infinite wisdom, I thought, I got to sit in a van, like a camper van, for like a day straight to get over there. I'm going to start taking the codeine. And everybody said to me, I'm really sorry about this, but everybody said to me, be careful of codeine, like all the nurses I know, because it can make you quite bunged up. Take some laxatives. And I was like, okay, I'm not really sure I'm going to do that, but okay. So I bought some laxatives. I took the codeine, didn't take the laxatives. And oh my God, thank God I didn't, because it just had the complete opposite effect.
Really?
Yeah.
So were you allergic to it?
I have no idea, but the entire world just left
out.
my soul. Yes. It just left
Oh my
me.
God.
It was awful, to the degree where I went to Spa on the Friday for the racing. It was race day.
Spa as in the place.
Yes, in Belgium.
Not the shop.
No, as in the racetrack at Spa in Belgium. We'd travelled over, and the race, the Friday, which was practice, I was sat I was stood in the sort of conference sort of area where the stage is, and I was saying to my husband, right, I want to see Lewis Hamilton, and I want to see Charles Leclerc, and I want to see Lando, and I want to see, and then all these Oscar and all these people. And he was like, right. And I was stood there, and I suddenly thought, no, I don't feel good at all. So I said to him, I'm going to the loo. And there was about, at this point, there was about 3,000 people between me and the toilet block. And I said to him, I'm going. And then I did that really awful thing, which was like a comedy sketch, where I'd go to the loo, I'd walk out, I'd wash my hands, I'd look at him, and I'd go back in the toilet. And then I'd come out, I'd wash my hands, I'd sort of look and go, no, back I'd go. And it was like a comedy sketch. Wow. It was, and he sort of kept looking at me every time I came out, going, this time, we're all right this time? No, off she go again. So I then ended up in the medical tent because I passed out on a drip, having fluids shoved back in because I got that dehydrated. It was like, oh my God. So I missed all of Friday.
No.
God.
I missed all of Friday. Saturday wasn't much better, and I ended up watching the race on Sunday. So that was my fun in July. June, my father-in-law, my actual father-in-law, died in hospital, really ill, really quickly, and died in hospital. And then, as is with these things, the family just became vultures, and it was just him. His mum and dad were separated, so it was just all down to him, and everyone just became vultures. It was just hideous. And so we had to go through all of that, October, we went on holiday for a weekend. We finally had a weekend off together. So my husband worked in the car industry. So he always worked Saturdays, every Saturday, and then he worked every other Sunday. And the Sunday that he wasn't working, we had our son. He came over. So our weekends were always quite packed. So we had one weekend where our son said, excuse me, I don't want to come over next weekend because it's my stepdad's birthday. We're having a family do. So I said to Aunt, let's go away for the weekend. So we went down to Paynton because my friend who had the other card lives in Brixham. So we said we arranged to meet up with them on the Sunday. And we met some other friends on the Saturday evening. And we were in the room getting ready to go out. We had the dog with us. It was all going well. And his mother rings up and says, I'm at your dad's old house trying to get the rest of the items that are coming to us. And she'd taken my 21-year-old brother-in-law. And she said, it's all kicked off. And he is now facing such and such a man, an uncle or whoever it was, who is waving a shotgun at him.
Oh my God.
So it was like, so my 21-year-old
Oh my word.
brother-in-law
Yeah.
was facing up
This is
to
your
this.
husband's brother.
My husband's brother was facing up to this man who is his relative, who was saying, you're not taking this. And my brother-in-law was saying, but it's mine. It's in the estate. It's mine. And so we had my husband on the phone to my mother-in-law and trying to calm all of that down. I was on the phone to the police saying, get over there. You know, he's 21-year-old and he's being
Intimidated by
a shotgun, you know, get over there. So that was the joyful part of our lovely weekend away. And we were, about an hour or so later, we were walking down the beach. We'd taken the dog onto the beach. Did I move again?
No, you're all good. You're all
No,
good.
it's nothing to do with you. It's technical issues today we've had.
We were walking down the beach about an hour later, and the dog was off running. It was a really nice time. And he just sort of stopped and he said to me, I've just suddenly realised that since we got married, this is our second weekend without kids or work. And I said, yeah. And he said, that's an awful lot of weeks. And I said, that's 2 weeks, 2 weekends in 48 weekends. Because we were literally about a month away from our wedding anniversary. And he said, that's a lot, isn't it? And I went, yeah. And he went, and we've had a really shit year, haven't we? And I said, yeah, it's not been the best of years. I mean, if anybody ever says to you, the first year of marriage is just wonderful, I just wallop them. It was just awful. And he just went really quiet. And then the weekend carried on. I thought nothing more of it. And then Tuesday, he went to work Monday. Tuesday, he came home from work and we were sitting having dinner. And I sort of said to him, are you all right? Everything okay? And he said, I've got a bit of a confession to make. And I said, yeah. And he said, my job today. And I said, oh, right. And he said,
Just out of the blue, just like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
He said, I quit my job today. And I said, okay. And he said, well, the work-life balance isn't there. He said, there's a lovely lot of work, but there's no life that goes with it. He said, I work 6 days a week one week, and then the next week I work 5 days, and those 2 days aren't together that I have off. It's just one at the beginning and one at the end. He said, I'm just done. I'm just absolutely done. And I said, yeah, okay. Process everything that's happened. Just chill for a bit, get on with it, deal with stuff, you'll be fine. So he, bless him, God love him. I mean, he's such a worker. My husband left home when he was 17. He has a very young mum. So his mum is 4 years older than me.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Granted, there is an age gap between my husband and I. It's not,
How big's the age gap?
13 years.
Really?
So he's just turned 40. Yeah, and I've just turned 53. So yeah, there's a bit of an age gap. But his mum is 4 years older than me. But she had him when she was very young. She was 16 when she had him. And then she had Stephen 4 years later. And after that, they were absolutely fine. But when Ant was 17, she suddenly announced that she was pregnant. And Lee came along. And Ant sort of sat there at some point while she was still carrying and sort of thought, well, there's only a certain amount of bedrooms and there's just about to be one other person. And he said, I'm gone. So he left home. So from the age of 17, he was still at college, but working every hour he could at the weekends, both Saturday and Sunday, and some evenings to get money to pay for the flat. So he has, since he left home, just worked. Yeah. So he left, he quit at the end of October. We had a lovely week with our son because it's Jay's birthday at the end of October, and so had a lovely week with him because it's half term as well. And then he just did nothing for like months. He just sat on the sofa, watched every episode of, multiple series and all these films, and he just vegged for like 2 months. He pottered around the house and did, various things. When we went to Mexico, we met some really lovely people, and he took great delight in telling everybody he was a jobless bum sponging off his wife. I mean, he just... It absolutely made such a huge difference to him. He just became the fun-loving, kind, considerate, funny man that he always was. Yeah. And it was almost like the weight of the last year had just vanished, just absolutely vanished. And he has now got a job. He's not still a jobless bum. He has now got a job. We had some solar panels fitted to the top of the house when poor kid, bless her, we went away for a couple of weeks to Mexico for our wedding anniversary. And while we were away, we had a utility built. We had the solar panels put on the roof. We had new meters put in. We did everything. We just said to Daisy, right, this is what's happening then, when, do this, do that, just have fun. And then we skitted off to Mexico. But when we came back, the manager or the owner of the company came to see us to make sure we were happy with everything, because obviously we weren't there during the install. And he and Ant were out talking for hours. They were out the front. They were talking the roof, the house, the bikes, the everything. And he came back in about 2 hours later. I mean, I'd taken like 2 cups of coffee out to them during this time. They were proper gossiping. And he said, I think I've just got myself a job. And I said, oh, okay. How did you do that? And he said, well, the guy that runs the company is trying to run every department on his own. He said, and he just can't do it. He's struggling to talk to the sales team and the fitters and the admin. He said, it's just... And he said, I said to him, you just need a manager in the middle that's going to sit and just coordinate diaries and fittings. And he said, oh, yeah. Are you looking for a job? And I went, well, yeah, actually, I am. And that was it. He set up his own company, and he works as a consultant for this guy, and that's what he's doing. Wow. And it is like he is a completely different person. He used to bug the hell out of me. I'm going to be really rude about him now, bless him. He used to bug the living daylights out of me when he worked in the garage, because he'd ring me all the time. I'd be trying to do work, and he'd be, oh, he's on the phone again. Oh, he's on the phone again. Oh, my God, he's there again. Just constantly. Now, I don't speak to him from the moment he gets out of the car in the morning to the moment he gets back in the car.
And is it a Monday to Friday job?
He works Monday and Friday at home.
Right.
But still doing all the systems and everything. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he goes down to the warehouse and sees everyone and does everything.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, that's good for him.
That's really good, yeah.
That is good.
So it was a really awful year.
But ended positively.
But it ended well. Yeah. So that was, oh, and the last one, my father-in-law, not my father-in-law, but my father-in-law lost it was diagnosed in June as terminal, and we lost him 10th of January. So we're now, I've said to my stepdad, Pete, I said to him, do not die this year. I said, I cannot cope with it, because I was really lucky. Every Father's Day, I'd always buy 3 Father's Day cards. One for my stepdad, one for my father-in-law and one for my not father-in-law. And my not father-in-law. And this year I've lost 2 of them. Oh. Last year, lost 2 of them.
Yeah, Pete, you can't die yet. Hang on in there, buddy.
No, I did say to him, you pop off. I said, you and I are going to have...
Well, he's not young, though, is he? How old is he?
He's 81 this year. Still working. Yeah, still working. Somebody
is he working with mum, or is he working?
Yeah, we all still work together. Yeah. Somebody asked me this weekend, somebody very politely said, oh, it's no wonder your mum's not here this weekend. I mean, who wants to be 70-year-old and like walking around a bloody field all day? And I said, who the hell's 70-odd? And he said, well, your mum. And I went, yeah, she's 84 this year. He was like, oh my God. So yes, but they both still actively working.
And you're still doing the fairs and everything?
Yeah.
Because you had one this weekend, didn't you?
I did. I was at the flea market on Sunday. Yeah.
Was it busy?
Well, do you know what? Weirdly, it was busy public. There weren't many outside stands, but full inside as well.
It's bloody freezing, that's why.
Yeah, it rained a lot. So yeah, but it was good.
What's going to happen? Because they're building on the site, aren't they? Is it actually at the Bristol and West Bath and West showground? Because I saw a planning thing for them that they were going to. So they're still going to do shows and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. The main purpose of the showground, as far as I know, is that it is a charity, which is teaching charity. So it teaches farmers new ways and brings new farmers into it. And it's developing the farming community. So as far as I know, it is going to stay doing that. They have an awful lot of land, which
they're going to build a considerable amount of houses on it, apparently.
We will see.
Well, it'd be nice to keep the tradition going, wouldn't
that can be this year's problem.
Really going off you now.
So how many fairs are you doing now?
We do 7 flea markets. We do Bath Decorative. Then we do 3 in Harrogate, 3 in Westonbirt, 2 at Chester, 2 in Buxton. So that is 18. I was trying to count them with my fingers as I went along.
You lost count then?
18 a year. Yeah.
So do you go up to Harrogate one?
Yeah.
What's it like as a place? I've never been.
Harrogate's lovely. Yeah. It's beautiful, actually. Yeah. It's really lovely. Buxton is my favourite.
Where's Buxton? I can't think where Buxton is.
Buxton is the Peak District.
Okay, yeah.
I'm doubting myself now.
Lake District.
District?
Peak District. It's in between.
Do you know what?
Derbyshire.
We can't have this conversation. I'll tell you the reason why. Dave and I are in bed one day and he said he'd like to go to Chatsworth. And I said, okay. Why he wants to go to Chatsworth, but he does. I said, okay. I said, I'd like to go to the Lake District. So this week that we have off each month now, we're kind of trying to coordinate. And he went, and I said, well, we could go to Chatsworth because that's in Derbyshire, I think.
Yes.
And I said, and then we can just pop up to the Lake District. He went, you don't pop to the Lake District. It's like 2.5 hours drive. And I went, no, because when I was a child, and this is my perception, this just goes to show how you gather these perceptions as a kid. I lived, the Lake District is where everybody went to. But I also remember, but I didn't realise it wasn't in Derbyshire. I've got no sense of direction. We are planning our trip.
Chatsworth House is beautiful.
Right, so what you need to do is tell me when you're up in
Buxton.
Yeah. Give me the dates of your Buxton shows, and then if we're going up there, we're
May and September.
We're going April or May. We haven't decided.
Try May. I'll be there.
Try May.
I'll come to Chatsworth with you. It's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely glorious. Yeah, and you will have seen it. You will have seen it because you'll stand there, you'll go round. I did it when I went round the corner and saw the back of the house, and I went, oh, that was on. Yeah, you know all the films, all the programmes that you've watched, and it's on, and it's absolutely beautiful.
What's funny is you watch things on the TV, and we were watching some series, and I went, oh, that's Cliveden House. And Dave and I went, William paid for us to go to stay at Cliveden House. Don't ask me where it is. And they had kites in the sky. That's all. Not kites as in with bits of string, the birds' kites.
Birds.
And you look at them and you think, oh, it feels really nice and familiar. There's the Dawn French series, which I don't watch terrestrial telly anymore, but that was filmed in Axbridge.
Yes.
It was, yes.
And and it's a bit like, what's the film? that was filmed in Wales?
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. I mean, I love that, just to see
Brilliant
the
film.
places.
I watched it the other day.
Yeah, we
great
watch
film
it.
to watch.
Film.
It's a repeater, isn't it? It's when you can watch.
In our house, we have big film buffs. All of us love films. And in our house, we have disc plates, which are metal pictures that you put a magnet to the wall and then you can put the disc plate up. You can chop and change the disc plate and change it to whatever you want. But we all bought disc plates of our favourite films. And on one film, on one wall, we've got these 10 disc plates, and it's things like 10 Things I Hate About You, Beetlejuice, there's the thing with the minis. God, menopause brain.
No, I know what you mean. The bank robbery.
That's the one, yeah, with the
Italian Job.
The Italian Job, thank you. See,
You can see
spot
he's
the
still
person
got a
without
young
the
brain.
menopause. Yeah, yeah. So we've got all of these, and on the other wall, we just have the Cornetto trilogy. Just the and it.
Is that a film?
No, it's 3 films. So it's the Cornetto trilogy, which is Hot Fuzz, The World's End.
Yeah, I don't like The World's End, actually, but yeah.
And I can't remember what the one was before. Oh, Shaun of the Dead. Of course it is. Shaun of the Dead. And it's just the 3, and it's just our little
But did they
homage
film
to
the other 2 in Wales? They didn't.
No, it was just Hot Fuzz. But yeah, it's a brilliant film, Hot Fuzz.
Oh, I love it. It's one of Dave's favourites as well. The trouble is, though, you have to dodge what you're going to watch it on. So sometimes it's on Netflix and you can get away with it. Sometimes it's on Amazon and sometimes it's on Disney. It's like you take your pick.
Isn't it wonderful, the television system now that we have, where you just have, like, endless apps? And isn't it, when I say wonderful, I mean it sarcastically. It's like, oh, my God. And you find a film and you think, oh, I'll watch that. And then you have to spend 40 minutes trying to trawl around all these bloody apps, trying to work out which one it's on. Is it on Disney? Oh, it's not on Disney. Well, let's go to Prime. No, it's not on Prime. We had to buy, what did we buy the other day? Apple. I despise Apple. I despise Apple with a passion. Everything Apple is just devil spawn. It's evil. I hate them.
I love it.
Absolutely hate them. They're just money-grabbing bastards. I hate them. So I refuse any Apple
Do we have
product.
to take that out now she said that?
We'll just have to mark it as 18 content.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
I hate anything Apple because they're just. Ugh. And I wanted to watch the F1 movie, and everyone's gone, oh, you've got to watch it. It's a bit naff, and
Isn't it on Netflix though?
No,
it's
if
not.
you're into F1, it's a bit rubbish at places, but it's all right. And watch. Got to
Get the Apple TV
now.
and the Apple TV subscription. It's
So
funny, isn't
I
it?
watched the film, and then I
Deleted the app.
unsubscribed. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it, how years ago everybody had Sky and Sky cost £100 and something a month and all this. Now we all pay for these apps, and I'm sure it adds up to very similar money.
Still the same money.
Yeah, it's just that it's over multiple apps, so you don't notice it as
Yeah.
much.
It's insane.
Well, I don't, all right? So I've only just bought Netflix.
You've got Disney Plus,
I've got Disney. No, I didn't pay for that. Will pays for that.
okay, and Amazon Prime.
William pays for that. But actually, I find them incredibly irritating because I have problems with our internet at home, and very often it bounces me out. So I've then got to and because I'm old, I forget what to do, and then I think, oh yeah, I've got to go to settings, and then I've got to put it all back in, and I'm a bit grumpy at that stage. And then William says, you do your Amazon Prime like this, Mum, and every time he does it, I still can never get back into it, and then I have to ring him, and then he's like, gosh, she's an old person. That
She's
needs to
ringing
be-
again. Yeah, it's awful. Love the day. And I'm sure it's rose-coloured glasses. I'm sure it's rose-tinted glasses that we all look back on it when Channel 4 suddenly arrived and we all went, oh, that's exciting. Do you remember when Channel 4 turned up, or are you
No,
too
I
young?
don't. I've always experienced Channel 4. I don't remember not having Channel 4.
When it turned up, first time it turned up, it was like,
Exciting.
oh my God. we
Got
didn't
question though,
know.
was Channel 5 before Channel 4?
No.
Oh, so Channel
In fact,
5
it's
came after?
4 and 5, yes.
Okay.
Would
There was
be
the
really
same.
daft
It
if
would.
went 1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
I'm just curious, when did Channel 5 arrive then? 'Cause I don't remember Channel 5 arriving.
4 came in the 80s.
Oh yeah, that's definitely before my time.
Sorry.
He's looking old today.
5 must have been in the 90s.
I'm going to Google it while we're talking.
Yeah, must have been in the 90s.
I have no idea. And because I was never a great telly watcher, I probably watched more Like
So
I watch a
Channel
film.
5 was the 30th of March, 1997.
Wow. Gosh.
Yeah.
So what year were you born?
I was born 91.
91. Yeah, there's like a whole... I was out in the pub in 91. Yeah. My husband was born in 85
Oh, okay, yeah.
and I was born in 73.
Yeah.
I'm not saying when I was born.
20
No, it's 1962, I'll have you know.
We are polar opposites of the years. So I was born January 73 and he was born December 85. So we're polar opposites. So it's not even as though it's sort of roughly 12. It's bob on 13 years. And it's amazing when I suddenly it's awful. I start going down memory lane and I go, oh my God, can you remember when?
And he hasn't got a clue.
No, what are you on about? The worst ones, when Princess Diana died, which was like August the 31st or whatever year it was.
It's about 28 years ago.
Was it?
Do you know what's really odd? I remember the funeral. And I remember it because it was the only thing on TV for what felt like a week. And I don't know why. I remember it really well.
Yeah.
I would have been 7.
Yeah, well, I said to him, like, where were you when Diana died? And he went, I don't know. What are you asking me that for? And I said, well, how old were you? And he said, well, how old were you? And I said, 24. And he went, I was 12. And I went, oh, shit, that's horrible. I'm not keen on that. Yeah, can't remember what the other one was. Oh, he asked me the other day what I was doing when they were landing on the moon.
You weren't born there. I remember when they landed on the moon.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, Live Aid. That was the other one.
Live Aid.
Live Aid. I was having a conversation with, that was 80, 86, 84.
How old was
Google it, please. When was Live Aid? It was...
Victoria was 3.
Yeah, 1985. July the
1985.
13th.
Yeah, Victoria was 3.
So
So that's the year he was born.
yes, yeah. He was cooking nicely. I was having a conversation with, but we were having a party at home and we were having a conversation about Freddie Mercury. And my friend Jenny, the other bridesmaid, said, oh my God, that must have been amazing to watch Live Aid and watch Freddie Mercury do the yay and all that sort of thing. Right? And I was like, no, not really. Because like everything, when you're living through something, you don't realise how special it's going to be when you get many years on. And I was like, no, not really. I didn't really sort of do the whole Queen phenomenon thing. I'm not really... And she was like, what do you mean, not really? And I went, well, it was like... And she went, well, how old were you? And I said, well, I was like 11. I know I just started secondary school. I was like 11. And I said, well, how old were you? And she went, 1. And I was like, okay. And I sort of looked at Ant and he went, cooking. And I was like, what? He was like, I was cooking. I was in there. I was cooking. And I was like, oh my God. And you suddenly sort of sit there and think, I need to get new friends. I need to get friends that are like, in fact, you need to come for dinner. You need to come to the dinner with us. I keep inviting you.
Token old person.
Yeah, no. It's because I have 2 very wonderful sets of friends. One who are all the youngie ones that I go out and I do the weekends away with, and it's drinking and dancing and all that, which are lovely. But then we have a ladies' dinner evening where once a month...
And I never get there.
You never get there. You're
No, it's
always
always
invited. We get together and we just go out and have dinner, and the youngest one is like 50, I think it might be me and Becky, so 53. And then it goes up to sort of late 60s. And then we just have very refined, lovely evenings out in nice restaurants and chat about stuff. So you need to come out with us. It's lovely.
But I remember Live Aid because Victoria, it was her 3rd birthday. So it was July the 13th. And that's how I remember, 1985. That's how I remember. And I can tell you exactly where I was. I was living in Somerset at the time at my mother's house. And Victoria's dad had come up for her birthday, and I remember having it on the telly. I can literally remember the whole day. Funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you missed that. I mean, that was such a
huge day. Yeah. Di and My first, like you were saying about the funeral,
Yeah.
the first day I ever really remember it being, a substantial day or an important day was Charles and Di's wedding.
Yeah.
And watching that, and I must have been about the same sort of age you were for the funeral.
Yeah.
So I must have been about 7.
What year did they get married?
And I remember lying on the sofa with my cousin.
1981.
1981. I remember lying on the sofa with my cousin and never ever drinking whiskey because he was drinking a glass of whiskey and doing that thing where we were sort of couched up and he had my neck on his arm.
Yeah.
You know, because he was he was older than me, but lifting his arm up every time around my neck to drink this whiskey. And that smell of whiskey is just like from now on. And my mother stood behind us like Freddie Mercury in the video of Break Free. She just did the ironing all day. She just sat there, just ironed. These baskets would arrive and it would just move and go into another basket. But that was, my aunt and uncle sort of sitting there watching it. My grandmother crying.
I lived in London when the wedding was on, and we were in London the day that it was Diana's funeral because David had a works do and we were up there. But that was one of the most spookiest things I've ever been to because literally the whole of the city was quiet. Yeah. It was, and very emotional. It was I think a lot of people were grieving their own grief through her grief, through the loss of her, if you see what I'm saying.
I was up at college that week in Holborn.
Yeah.
And it was the weirdest week I have ever been in London.
Yeah.
Because everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter who you spoke to, every conversation was about it. And the newspapers were all full of it. And it was very strange. And my mum came up for work. And she was staying not far from Kensington Gardens in a hotel. And my friend and I went on the tube to go and see her because we were going out for dinner. And there were all these people on the tube with flowers.
Yeah, that's what.
And you thought, wow. And my mum's hotel overlooked the entrance to Kensington Gardens. Yeah. And we were walking in, and I remember saying to Helen, what's that smell? And she went, I have no idea. And it was the most beautiful floral smell that it was like a combination of every floral smell you've ever had. And it was because when we went up to my mum's bedroom, I said to her, what's that weird smell? And it was all around the hotel. And my mum said, look out the window. And you opened the window and you could see the walkway to Kensington Garden, and it was just covered. There was just flowers everywhere, on the pavement, on the walkway. It was just everywhere. But it was just, the smell just wafted
I remember
you.
that as well. I remember that too.
Must have been an absolute nightmare to clean up.
Well,
but
it's like anything, isn't it? It's like, when do you pick them up? When do they remove them? When do they... And it's like that with your family, isn't it? When do you take a card down? When do you throw a card away? When do you not throw a card away? And I think when you're grieving, you think, oh, I wish I hadn't thrown that card away that person sent me. Or there's a lot of that goes on, isn't there? And it must be a tough call.
I went to my not mother-in-law's house yesterday with Dave, and it was the first time we'd seen her. So it was, and I'd gone in first. Daisy had cooked us some stew, being a good chef. She'd cooked us some stew. So I went in first because Daisy was on the phone. And I was doing that thing, you know, when you walk into someone's house and you're like, don't cry. Whatever you do not lose it. Do not cry, because if you know you lose it, you're gone. So she opened the door and she said, oh, hello. And she looks awful. She looked absolutely just run through. I mean, bearing in mind they'd been married for they were just about to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary, you know. So I said to her, oh, Mum, bought you some soup. Sort of stew soup thing. I said, not really sure what it is, but it's like chickeny, you know. She said, oh, lovely. She said, bung it in the fridge. I'll have that later. And I thought, okay, that's good. I'm all right now. I've done that initial contact. I'm okay. I'm going to keep it together. But of course, Daisy walked in. She walked in the front door and she went, hello. And I said, well, we're in the lounge. And she walked in and you have to walk into the dining room because they've maneuvered things around, but you have to walk into the dining room to go into the lounge. And she took one step in the dining room and then she walked back out. Love. And I thought, oh, okay, this is right. And she took one step in again and then she just sort of looked at me and she was just gone. So I said to Mum, you've got to go sort that out because she's just, so they had their little moment. But I was looking at the cards and she must have sort of 20, 30 condolence cards. And you look at them and you think it's a really stupid, it's a very bizarre idea, isn't it? Here's a piece of folded card that I thought I would put a picture on and send it to you, but it means so much.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was wonderful. I was looking at them all. I wasn't reading who they were from because it's not my business, but I was looking at them all and I was thinking, what beautiful,
sentiment,
what a lovely way. Yeah. Well, the thing I really struggle with a bit with all of it is that so Jeanette and Jeff, my mum and dad, they have 2 children. So Alex was the one that I had the child with, and Louise is their daughter. And Louise and I chat all the time. So as soon as we discovered, I was straight on to Louise and, if you need anything, I'm not family, but I am your family. So, they're my mum and dad. And I talk to Louise all the time and her husband and the kids and then I messaged Alex, and Alex and I don't speak. We've had quite a difficult separation, and then we got on okay for a bit, and then it just got really stupid again. So, And I sent him a message, and I said, I'm so sorry. He was a wonderful man, yada, yada, yada. Call me if you need anything, blah, blah, blah. And I said to Jeanette, how is Alex doing? And she said, he's not good at all. And I thought, that's really awful. I really want to ring him and say, are you okay? Talk to me. Because he won't talk to anyone. I know him so well. He will just be bottling it up. But then his wife, he probably is too close, and they've got kids, and you've got to stay strong for the kids. Fortunately, Daisy knows me well enough by now, and I just blub like a wally in front of her, as she does with me. But Alex isn't like that, and I so desperately just want to ring him and go, are you okay? And I can't, because we don't have that connection anymore, and that's the hardest part with it.
But I think that is when you're detached from people. I think I agree with you. There's a level of the complications of families nowadays, aren't there? Who's married to him and he's divorced, and she's married them, and da-da-da-da-da. And who the hell's you got your father or your stepfather or your grandfather or your mother or whatever. And it just does become very complicated. And I remember I've talked about this before, but I went to a funeral once, and it was a client's funeral. And I stood at the back of the church, died of natural causes, and I stood at the back of the church. I knew he was going to die before anybody else knew he was going to die because he told me. And he said, I haven't told anybody yet, but I need to tell them. And I said, that's okay. What help do you need? How can I help you? I'm stood there thinking, I've got to know things about this man that his mum doesn't know about, that his wife or his kids or don't know about. And it's a hell of a lot to hold on to when I can't tell anybody. It would be wrong of me to say anything. They knew who I was, vaguely, and they came up and said thank you and da-da-da. But it was like, this is really odd. And I think when people die, that's when it becomes odd, because your role of that in that person's life isn't the same as that other person or that other person. And when you're estranged from somebody and you know that that's their feelings about it, it's very difficult to approach them.
Yeah.
Really difficult.
Yeah. I'd love to just pick up the phone to him and say, you know what, are you okay?
Yeah.
He'd probably tell me to bugger off.
Yeah.
But, just to make sure that actually he is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeanette and Jeff have constantly been in our lives. Alex and I parted 20 years ago. It's a long time, but Jeanette and Jeff have always
been a constant.
There. Yeah. When I walked out of the wedding reception, they were the first people I saw. They were there, And I invited them, and I said, look, I get you don't have to. And she said, there's no way on God's earth we're not going to be there, And it is very difficult because they've always been my mum and dad. But I would, to have that connection with him is quite difficult.
But does that come back to forgiveness? You know, how do we forgive people and how do we move through relationships? I mean, I've cut off a few relationships over the last couple of years intentionally, and it's not that I don't like that person, it's not that I wouldn't want that person in my life, it's just that actually I can't be in that relationship on those terms. And so therefore I've had to look after myself. I don't have the energy for, I didn't have the energy for those people in my life. And funnily enough, the people that, when James died, they all made contact. All of them made contact, except for one. And it's like, I've never actually fallen out with anybody. I just, what's in my eye?
That's called a tear.
No, it wasn't actually.
Okay.
Well, you know me, I've cried on this podcast so many times.
Yeah.
And I just think, I would always make contact. Like you, I would make that contact, and just because I feel I've had a relationship with you and I do have compassion for you.
It's a weird thing. There are two strands to that. It's a really weird thing when someone dies because everybody always contacts you as soon as it happens.
And then forgets about you for the rest of the year.
And then as soon as the funeral happens, it's done. And everyone goes, oh, we've done that now. And I'm sure that's not what goes through people's minds, but that is how it feels, isn't it? When my dad died, see, there's another dad. Just throw dads out there. I've got more dads than, When my dad died, it was really weird because, again, you find people that connect with you, and then as soon as the funeral is done, that's it. They're gone. And I've always, when my Aunt Jane died, my cousin Leslie, I was talking to her and I said, I don't mean it rudely, I'm not going to bother with you until after the funeral. And she went, okay. And I said, I'm not being rude to you. I said, but you'll have everybody. Everybody will come over, and the last thing you need is just one more person popping in and going, woohoo. I said, what you actually need is, once it's done, somebody who's going to constantly ring you every week and talk to you. But then also you have that weird thing when there is a death in your family where you then have two strands of people where people either come up to you and go, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry for your loss, or whatever it is they want to say to you. But then you have the type of person who also goes, ooh, and walks in the other direction. And it is that. And I'm sure it is decided upon what your experience of death is. I'm sure that's why it happens. But you get people that come straight up to you and hug you and go, I'm so sorry, and yada, yada, yada. And they're there for you and they'll talk to you and acknowledge it. But the most surprising people just suddenly go and cross the street. When my dad died, I actually saw one of my best friends cross the street to avoid me. People don't know what to say.
People don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And, from my experience, I think the nicest thing to say is, are you okay?
Yeah.
In the not okay.
Yeah.
Because it is not okay. I'm just really aware that we've taken up an enormous amount of your time.
I love
We've
chatting
been
to you.
going for an hour.
Have we?
We have.
Oh my God, I love chatting to you two.
It's
You
really
come
good.
out
We
with
need to
really
have.
interesting
I
stuff.
think you need to be like
I'm not coming back again.
You
Look
are.
what you did to me last time.
So what are
No.
you going to do in a year's time? No.
Hopefully next year I'll come back and go, yay, it'll be fine. I'm not going to be pregnant.
I think you need to be a more regular
you know.
guest. We cover a lot of topics with you.
We do.
I guess back. That's what it is. Once you start me, I'm off.
So is there anything that you'd like to put
Don't
down
say
as a goal?
change.
Let's put down as a goal.
A goal for the
Go
next
for
So the
no.
ne-
6 months.
No.
Let's do 6 months.
Do you know, we've got, actually, Ant and I are this year spending way more time with each other. We have got something booked for every month.
There you
We
go.
are just going to do. We have started the most amazing competition,
Which is?
which is date nights.
And you're competing with each other, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. It's like a proper
Okay,
competition.
can we hold that?
Yeah.
And can you come back
Yeah.
and do that in the next podcast? Because I'd
Yeah.
like, and could you write a list so
Yeah.
that you know all of them so you won't forget with
Yeah.
your,
Yeah.
menopausal
That'd be
brain?
good.
It's a proper tally as well. Who wins what?
Yeah, no,
Ooh,
that's
I
fine.
like
fine.
this.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, Sounds
good.
Thanks,
do that.
Katie, for coming on.
Thank
Really
you so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me again.